everybody. So I just got on the train heading towards Asakusa. So I hope the signal doesn't get cut off, but I thought I would take a moment and... Are you there? Are you there? Sorry, we're having some technical difficulties because apparently I'm going through a lot of tunnels, but there's still nobody on this train except for me. So I thought I would do a live stream, and yet the signal's going in and out. I apologize. So I'll take some questions if you have them. The signal might go out again if that happens. Oh boy. So what questions you got? Where are you from? I'm from the United States. I live in Tokyo. Anything else about Japan, maybe? Secret organization broke down John's stream. Not so, maybe. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. It's working now. So I'll just wait here till you guys have a question. Where will you be at tomorrow? I'm going to be editing video tomorrow. I got a lot of stuff to do tomorrow, so I'll be editing video. Are you alone? Yeah, the whole train is mine right now. There's nobody on this train. How long is the train trip? From where I got on, it's 3 hours and 4 minutes. Where's the orange jacket? It's at home. It's been washed a few times. It's doing good. It doesn't stink or anything from that hitchhiking trip. It's wearable. So I'll bring it out this fall a couple of times. How many hours from Fukushima to Tokyo? I'm not in Fukushima city. Fukushima is pretty big. So I left from a place called Aizu, and Aizu is I can show you where I am on the map. Okay. I'm sort of in the middle of Japan. You see the map there? I'm in the middle of Japan. Fukushima is this prefecture here, and I'm in the middle of it. So, yeah, I'm not leaving from Fukushima city. I guess it's easier to see if I turn it down. No, I'm here. I'm literally in the middle of the mountains. I guess this would explain why. Can you see? This would explain why my signal is so bad. Yeah, there you go. So, Fukushima is huge. So, it's about if you take the Shinkansen, there's no Shinkansen where I went. This is the another express train. Nobody's getting on. It's crazy. I'm still the only one in this carriage. Will Shige-san be working with you in the future? I don't know. Shige-san, he lives in Fukushima, so we might. I don't know. I'd like to do more with Fukushima, so we're gonna see. But he lives in Fukushima, so hopefully I'll be able to see him again. I'd love it if he came to Tokyo. We go out and have drinks, get Peter, and some other people. I have questions. Do you run your own business in Japan? Nosh abroad? Yes, I have a business. I have my own company. I started it 12 years ago. And yeah, it's a small company, but it's an established company in Japan. The longer you have a company in Japan and the older you are, the more people trust it, and the more you build a reputation for it. Is it hard to establish a business in Japan? Very hard when I started mine 12 years ago, but it's getting a little bit easier. Do you prepare your own taxes? Yes, I do. Is Japan friendly for foreign business owners? Yeah, I think if you're creating jobs and you're making money for your company, of course, it's going to be very happy. Japan needs more entrepreneurs, I think. I started my company as a communications company to teach people about stuff, and that's the purpose of the company. I started first streaming on iTunes. Not streaming, I started uploading videos to iTunes in 2006 before YouTube was even, I think YouTube just started that year in 2006. I was on iTunes, and I had my own server, and I was giving out bandwidth, and people were downloading. That's a massive onsen. Check that onsen out. Whoa. I'm in the middle of nowhere. That's Asaya Hotel. This thing is massive. This must be Kinugawa Onsen. Whoa, can you see the sign? It's behind that building right there. Kinugawa Onsen. That building is massive. Oh my word. People get on the train now. So sorry for that. That was pretty big. But where was I? Is Japanese necessary for every job? No. These are great questions, by the way. You don't need Japanese for every job, but I mean, I want you to think about this for a second. All right? In any other country that you go to and you want to work in that country, if you cannot speak the local language in that country, do you think you're going to find a job anywhere else in the world? It's pretty hard. If you speak English, that's not a passport to a job. You can be an English teacher. You might be able to work for a foreign company, but your ability to speak Japanese will probably control your destiny here. And if you can't speak Japanese, don't expect to get a good paying job or expect to have a career here. It's sort of you probably will need to learn Japanese, but it's not necessary. It's a really good question because a lot of people ask me about how to get work here. How old are you? I'm 43 years old. Can you teach me Japanese? No. I don't know. I don't really teach language. When is your next driving test? December 14th and December 11th. I'm taking a practice exam with this type of taxi car that they made me drive at the exam last time. And the guy's pretty. It's gonna cost me $150 for that lesson too. So it's yeah. Would you move back to America? Why? No. I could, but I'm not. Jen, could you make a religion about... Can I make a religion about you? What does that mean? I don't know, if you want to. Are we just passing through a station? There's a station master. There's one person on the platform, and that's it. There's nobody else on the platform. This is getting a little creepy. Getting a little creepy. I miss Shige. Shige misses you. Do you smoke? I don't smoke anything actually, so you don't have to worry. I don't smoke anything, so you can ask me anything. I'll be honest with you. I don't smoke cigarettes or anything. I'm a runner. Runners, they don't smoke. My mother was a smoker and she doesn't anymore. But I always hated that as a kid, and so when I went to college and people were smoking, I never had a desire to do it. And once you get past age like 20, I think if you didn't smoke, you're not going to start. There's just, there's no pressure for me to smoke, so I don't really need it. What was your favorite thing you did in Fukushima? Wow. I ate today, and I put it on Instagram just now, so definitely check out Instagram, Only Japan TV. I ate the best sauce katsudon, this breaded pork cutlet, and it's like smothered in a tangy soy-based sauce. That's what I wrote on Instagram as the description. It was the best sauce katsudon I've ever had, and that was a very, very spiritual experience, I think. That sauce katsudon. Do I have a picture on this? It was so good. But what was the best thing about this trip was meeting the people. I always love the people, and that's I think the biggest attraction for me traveling anywhere in the world. Yeah, the food is good, but it's always the people. It's the people who cook the food. It's always the people that are in the restaurant. So this stuff is the most important. I got a picture. Oh, so here it is. Here's the picture. I put it on Instagram. That is the sauce katsudon, and it was just like out of sight. I can't even describe to you how amazing it was. I also didn't I take some video of this? I'm pretty sure I did. I also said goodbye to the lady, and yeah, that was. Oh, this is the other phone. It's on this one. That sauce katsu was good. I loved the onsen. I liked working with Gak or Wada-san at the end, and with Mia. That's her last name, by the way. That's not her first name. Mia and Shige, and I liked working with these people. That was a lot of fun. For me, it's always the people. I've stayed in some really amazing ryokan before. I've eaten some amazing food before. That's stuff I'll do again in the future. But it's always the people. I don't know when I'm gonna see them again. I hope soon. They're really nice, and I get attached to people just like everybody else does. So it was sad to say goodbye on the platform. Does Mia Miya is her name, have an Instagram? I don't know. I don't think so. I think she just uses Facebook or something. But she's not any kind of a celebrity or anything. So she doesn't have. I think most of her stuff is gonna be private. Yeah. Any anime recommendations? To learn Japanese and Japanese culture, I would say pick up Sazai-san. I know it's not like it's not the most exciting anime or manga or anime, but for me, that's how I learned Japanese culture and language. Sazai-san, about how a Japanese family works through anime, and it's not the kind of anime maybe you're thinking of, but to me, that would be the one I recommend the most to everybody. Sazai-san, Sazaesan. Her name is Sazai. I love that. I love that anime. Any plans to live stream with Peter soon? Yeah, probably. I talked to him a little bit yesterday. Maybe sometime this week, if we can, or by the weekend. He has some great ideas. Peter's he's one of the most talented people I know, like with everything, because he has that sort of perfectionism in him that he always gets better and better and better at the stuff he does. And he just started YouTube, and I know he's going to get better and better and better at it. So I think it's good if maybe somebody's coming. I think it's good if all of us help Peter with his channel and support what he's doing, and then let's see, and Kevin as well, and Jennifer as well, and let's see how their channel evolves. A lot of you have been following Only in Japan for. Okay, we're just across the station. That's the train going the other way towards Aizu Wakamatsu. That's kind of that's kind of cool. It's starting to rain here in Tokyo, in this part of Japan. So I think you've been following my channel for a few years maybe. I think it's interesting to see how these people who are starting their channels evolve theirs, and it's exciting for me to see the same stuff that they're going through and overcoming and using their creativity to make something out of nothing, which is just a story. Peter's episodes have been pretty good, actually. They're pretty creative. I'm surprised. Do you have any plans to make video about Japanese football match atmosphere or something? Somebody asked me about that. Yeah, Kuma's Kitchen, Florencia. Somebody asked me about that, and there is American football. I think they're checking out American football. There's American football in Japan, and I was asked to cover that, but I didn't have any time this year. I'm gonna cover this next year because it's like bizarre. The universities here in Japan, they have American football teams, and some of these players are pretty good. I don't know if they make it in the U.S., and I don't even know, maybe one out of all of them could make the NFL like they do in baseball, Major League Baseball, but it'd be interesting to see some Japanese playing American football or Japanese like Western sports, and to see how they do in that. They're very competitive. John, can you dab? Look, dude, dab is over, all right? Dabbing has been done for like several years now. I never did that because I'm not one of those guys who copy all the sports and athletes who do this stuff. If they do it, I probably will do the opposite because I don't like to do what they do. I do my own thing. John, do you have any plan? I'm gonna be honest with you. You can ask me anything. The camera's over here, but the chats are over here. So I apologize if I'm not looking at you. Do you have any plans to make video about Japanese football match atmosphere or something? Okay, that's the one you asked me. Watch Samurai Champloo, one of the best. Okay. Samurai Champloo. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. are your trips part of your NHK work? No, these are not part of my NHK work. This is all me, and a lot of these trips are supported by Patreon. I started something called the Postcard Club. There's 5 postcards left available for 5 people who want to support the Postcard Club on Patreon, and this support is helping me fund more travel. This particular trip, I want to point this out. I think it's really important for creators to be honest. It was funded mostly by Fukushima Prefecture, and they're trying to bring more attention here, and with good purpose. And I'm really happy to have been part of a group that had an idea to help promote Fukushima through Onsen and ryokan and other things. And my part of it was the ryokan. Thank you, Leo. What my part was to do ryokan, onsen, and food for 8 days, and I was really happy to do it. Are you okay? Come late to the party? Yeah, I'm okay. Are you talking to me? Thanks for the super chat. So this isn't related to NHK at all. I don't do a lot of NHK right now because my schedule. First of all, the NHK is a lot of fun, and I love to do it because I like to work with a team. But if I only did NHK, I would be the payment is not a lot of money actually. If I only did NHK, I probably, as a reporter, and I'm freelance, I'm not NHK staff. If I did that, I probably would not be able to support myself. It's not a lot of money you make. It's sort of like beer money or food money. It's like a tip, but that's why I can't do it like I used to. But the thing is, it's so much fun, and for me, the directors, the teams who do it, they're like, I feel like they're my family. So when they ask me, I will almost always say yes. The only reason I wouldn't would be a scheduling conflict, and I love working with the team at NHK. But when it comes to life, you have to make your own content, and you have to go out and make your own way. And I think YouTube has been a platform, like an awesome platform to do that. It's not always perfect, but it's still the best out there by far. Have you met Peter Barakan? I've seen him, but I haven't met him. I don't know. We have different circles. He's like a lot older than me. I don't know. I'd love to work with him. I don't know if I would collab with him. Does he do YouTube? He's like a TV guy. He's a nice guy. I know people who know him. He has had a segment a few weeks ago on Tokyo Eye. Oh, me. Yeah. Right. Will you be doing any vid streams during the Olympics? Oh, yeah. The Olympics is like 2 years away. More than 2 years away. I don't know what I'm doing in more than 2 years. I bet you a lot of the YouTubers that are YouTubing now, they won't be here in 2 years either. You can see it's raining. It's raining right now. I'm going back to Tokyo. This is great. This live stream is just for you. I'm not showing you anything. I'm reading your comments. I know sometimes when I'm traveling and doing the live streams, I don't read the comments all the time because I'm looking around. But this time I'm just focused on your comments, and I thought that would be cool.
This train will be arriving shortly at Shin-Takatoku. The doors on the right.
Why only Japan? No update again. I don't know. What do you mean? No update. Hi bro, your channel is good. Cheers. I appreciate that. Are you gonna have ramen for dinner? No. You know what? I'm literally going to just eat tofu and vegetables and water for the next couple of days because I've been eating. I have like this is new. I'm not really a big person. I put on a couple of kilograms, I think, eating massive amounts of food at ryokan and not exercising. I didn't have time to exercise or go anywhere, so I'm totally not gonna be eating any ramen for a while. I've had my share. It's time to detox, I guess. Fukushima seems so cool, but I'll actually go to Hiroshima next year. Fukushima is really cool. I think more and more. See, there's the train going the other way. That's going to Aizu. People are actually getting on now. Okay, there's people getting on. I think I can still talk. It's not really crowded. So, what was I saying? Yeah, Fukushima is a really cool place to visit. Hiroshima is... Look, there's a course. And one reason why I didn't have the time to do this, to be honest with you, but the reason why I really wanted to do this was because there's a course that all foreign visitors to Japan seem to take. They fly into Narita or to Kansai, all right? And then they spend a few days there, and then they take the train to Kyoto. They spend some time there. They might go to like Takayama, but they'll go then to Himeji, see the castle. They'll go to Hiroshima, see Miyajima, and then they'll come back. Maybe they'll go to Osaka if they have time, do Dotonbori. They do everything that they've seen everybody else doing. That's what 95% of the Western tourists do. The Chinese tourists, I'm not even sure what they do. They're all over the place. They're everywhere in Japan. 80% of the tourists to Japan are from China, still, and Korea, as well as Taiwan and Hong Kong. I'm not sure what the tourists to the east of Japan do, but from the west, the U.S., Europe, Australia, all of them do the same circuit. If you go off that circuit, you don't see many tourists at all, which is sort of a shame. What I want to do with this year in particular, 2017, before the Olympics comes, is really try to show you more places, options, especially if it's your second time and you don't want to do what everybody else did. And Fukushima and Tohoku and Totori, and that's side of the Sea of Japan side of Japan, and Shikoku and Kyushu are awesome destinations with very few tourists, lots of food, lots of local cuisine, and even friendlier because they want you there. All right, they're friendlier. I'll tell you what, Miyajima is so overrun with tourists, that island. I think a lot of the people will just get frustrated because there's so many people who can't speak Japanese. They're just day trippers. It's not authentic. You want authenticity, you go to a place like where I was, and it's like in your face Japan, and that's, I think, the experience most of you are looking for. And I wanted to show you a piece of that. So Fukushima is a totally cool place. I've seen a lot of comics coming in. Are you on a JR line? No. This is Tobu. This is Tobu line. This is from Asakusa. You can take the train to Nikko. And this also goes up to Aizu Wakamatsu, and it's cheaper, like half the price of JR. You don't have to take JR in Japan, although JR is everywhere. Don't you have a channel set up for 2020 in Tokyo? I do, but I haven't made any content yet. I haven't had time. There's been too many location shoots. When is the next vid coming for the main channel? It should be coming this weekend. I just haven't had any time to edit it. I've been on location shoots, and even with a laptop, by the time I get back and I back up all the data I took, I have to go to bed, or I only get 6 hours of sleep before I have to start the next shoot. So I haven't done a lot of editing for the last month. How tall am I? I'm as tall as I look. I don't know. This is so personal. Some of them are too personal. Thank you, Nasha. Nasha Broad is one of the moderators, and he takes care of any of the people who get out of line. There's a couple of other moderators as well, so I do appreciate that very much. Keep it clean. It was to me one of the best streamings you did in Fukushima. Thank you. That was like a streamathon. Like every day, I just would, every time I found something interesting that I didn't film for the main channel. We're back. Sorry. Yeah, so this we're going through tunnels and stuff like this, and the connection isn't so good. So I'm sorry for tuning out. I hope some of you are sticking around. Well, if you don't, then that's pretty good. Then I can take more questions. Yeah, the Toba line is notorious for going through mountains. You're not late. You're actually on time. You're checking in now. I'm the Tobu line coming back from Aizu Wakamatsu from Fukushima, the mountains of Fukushima, back down to Tokyo. This train goes to Asakusa and arrives in about an hour. So I thought I would take some time to answer some of your questions for those of you who are tuning in right now. Yeah, you can go ahead and ask me anything. I forget what I was talking about because it took 10 minutes to get back online. Will you do any other onsen tours in other parts of Japan? I'm doing a video coming up on Tokyo baths. I think Charlotte in Japan did one, and she put it up on her channel, and I'm working with the same people to make a video about Tokyo Sentos, because I like the history of the public bath in Japan. That's going to be pretty interesting. I do it in a different way than Charlotte does, of course. Only if I go Peter for the next trip, that would be cool. We're gonna see what Peter and I can do together on the next live stream, to do maybe a day stream where we go out and we just do a bunch of stuff. The Spectre, Charlotte in Japan is moving to Korea. Oh really? Oh, that's sad. Hopefully I get a chance to see her before she leaves, because yeah, usually last year we had a Christmas party at Simon and Martina's house, and Charlotte came to that event, so hopefully I get a chance to see her before she leaves then. She works for a group called Breaker, and yeah, I really like those people there, and Charlotte is one of the nicest people. She's like really genuine. She's who she is in real life. When are you going to sing Girl? I don't know. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna, maybe Yorkshire Tea. You know what? Okay, if I do a karaoke episode, I'll try to sing something for you. How many onsen did you visit, Stan? How many onsen? I want to say 13, but I think it was more. At least I went, yeah, I think it was 13 onsen, but I was in more than 13 baths. And I did this all in 8 days, and I'm really exhausted because it was like constantly on the move. I don't like location shoots like this because I don't have time to go in depth. It's film it and then move on, and that's not the kind of way I like to make the show. I like the Aogashima style, where I'm there for a long time, absorbing it, and then bringing to you like a really compelling story. Whereas, because I'm working with Fukushima on this one, they want to cover so much in such a short amount of time. It's almost too much and almost counterproductive. But I think I can make a pretty good video out of this. Thank you. That's a good question. Taylor is a spoiled brat. I met her at Simon Martina's party as well. I thought she was pretty nice. You know, everybody's pretty nice, I guess, when you meet them. Is she spoiled? I didn't talk to her that much. I'm not sure. She probably doesn't know much about me either, because we didn't make any time to talk to each other. That's right. I will be heading across to Japan for 2 weeks. Cool. If I see you on my adventure, I'll buy you coffee. Yeah. That's okay. You can keep your Coke coffee. Jennifer spilled hers out. She hated it. I didn't mind it. It's maybe once in a lifetime. Are there hidden treasures in Japan, like buried? Maybe. There is a place in Nagoya, Atsu something G shrine, and oh gosh, I forget it. But there's a mirror that only the emperor is allowed to look at, this mirror, and he hasn't looked at it in generations. And every time they put a cloth over the mirror, and when the cloth is about to disintegrate, they just put another one on there, and they keep replacing it, and now it's caked on with layers and layers of cloth because the emperor hasn't looked at this mirror for such a long time. I thought that was pretty interesting history. That might be treasure. I don't know. There's probably treasure in some of the basements of these shrines as well. Who knows? Is there World War II bombs still found in Japan? I don't think so. The country was pretty... There could be out in the countryside. It's hard to say. There was the park I did, the blue flowered park in Hitachi. It was called Hitachi Kaihin Koen, the Hitachi Seaside Park. And that park had an amazing history. Not a lot of people saw that story for some reason. It was one of my best videos, I think. I didn't just film the beautiful flowers. I went to the history of that park. It used to be a bombing range for World War II. The Americans, the Japanese used it as bombing practice, and then the Americans turned it into their bombing range. And then after the occupation was finished, they turned it into a park. That's the kind of story that I just love to cover with Japanese history. And they had a museum in it, and a lot of foreign YouTubers go there, and they never cover that history. That one is definitely, and there might be bombs that I believe it was just bomb waste. They exploded everything, and then they made the bomb waste into a mountain or something. But it was really good history. That's the kind of stuff I think I want to cover more of. There are ghosts moving in John's wagon every now and then. I hope not. There's really nobody in here. It's kind of creepy. Will you be inviting Mia or Shige as guest I would love to do that. They're, you know what? A flock of seagulls. They will be on the main. Shige is going to be a lot in the main channel, and Mia has her own part in the main channel on the Onsen. So I wanted to show the women's point of view in the same episode. So I filmed Mia wearing a towel in the female bath to get a different point of view. So they're all going to be in the main episode. That should be coming in December, that episode. I have a lot of editing to do. You spent more than 1 week in onsens. How do you feel? Micha Wan. That's a pretty interesting question. So I took down this Daido blend coffee. They haven't changed the design of this coffee for, I think, 40 years. I feel really tired. I think, 7 days in onsen and ryokan is too much. I feel more exhausted than... I need a vacation from the ryokan. I'm going to be honest with you. The food was too much. It was too much. It was an overload of amazing things to eat. And I think a human needs to take a break and eat boring food to make an amazing thing more special. Life is a balance, right? And I'm so far here because I was in an awesome hotel room, awesome ryokan, tatami, everything. I was eating the best food. I was in luxurious baths with beautiful views. That's too much, and that's unbalanced, and I need to balance it out with hardship and putting myself in a prison cell for 7 days. Life is a balance. You need to work hard, and then you enjoy the time that you have to relax on vacation more. If I work hard during the day, I sleep better. If I don't work hard, I feel bad. It's like if I don't brush my teeth, I can't go to sleep. There's a balance to life, I think. Clean teeth is important to me. What weapons would you want if zombies in this train? Okay. You have to hit the zombies in the head, so I would want... can I have 2 weapons? Katana would be nice. I would like a sword. Because a really sharp one, because then I'd be quicker at getting rid of the zombies. I don't like... You know what? I always found that an axe would be good as well. But the thing is, if you get the axe in too deep, you can't get it out to go for the next one. So maybe an ice pick would be good. An ice pick and a sword. The problem with guns, you need ammo, and once you run out of ammo, then that's when the zombies bite you. So if I had to pick one, it would not be a gun. Okay. So there you go. A chainsaw. What happens when the chainsaw runs out of gas or battery, right? You know? Did you think of that? Mr. Chainsaw? John, Michonne style. Yeah, I would... You know what? Michonne is the one I think is gonna last the longest on the I'm not watching this season right now, but Michonne is by far, I think, the best, because she's hardcore with that sword. Nobody can take her out. It's the same, the same with everybody else who can do hand-to-hand combat. That's how you stay alive in a zombie apocalypse. Run fast, stay alive, and have senses to be around you, like some of the other people. So, do you believe in ghosts? Jasmine, I saw a ghost the first year I was in Japan. Oh, I don't know if I want to tell this story yet. You know what? Okay, I'm not going to tell this story. I saw a ghost the first year. I'm dead serious. I used to live next to a castle, Okazaki Castle. I lived 50 meters away from the castle, so it was really hallowed grounds. It's really sacred grounds, and I saw a ghost the first year. I wanted to say I SU not. It was there, and I moved. I didn't want to stay in that apartment, and I'll tell you the story in another time. I don't want to waste the story on this, but I do believe in ghosts, and I don't think that they show themselves to everybody, and I don't think they're always evil. I think that if they have a message to tell you, and you're the chosen one, then they will find you and they will communicate to you. And it was a woman. She communicated with me, and I'll tell you how in another live stream. And it's a true story. Okay? I'm serious. Look at my face. I'm serious. Okay? And now I'm not serious because I'm changing the topic, but the ghost story, I'm serious. I did see ghosts. I'm disappointed in this season of The Walking Dead. Don't tell me anything. We don't get it in Japan. We're like always a year behind. Ghost stories would be cool. Peter had a ghost story on his channel, by the way. And where's a good place to eat around Tokyo? Gosh, all right, where's a good place to eat around London? Yeah, that's really... Tokyo's a massive city. The best place to eat is not Shibuya. I can tell you where the best place not to eat is. Shibuya. I don't like Harajuku. Akasaka and Shimbashi. Shimbashi is cheap and it's a pretty authentic place to eat. I'd say that. Yeah, Shimbashi is a place you should check out, especially in the evening if you like the izakayas and less tourists. That place is pretty authentic. Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Again, if the signal cuts out, I apologize. When will your parents visit you again? You know what? My dad has never visited Japan. He says the plane ride's too long. My mom has been here 4 times. No one else in my family has ever been here, except for my cousin, and she went to university at Sophia University for 1 year. That was pretty cool. Countryside is the place to eat in Japan. Yes, Cecile de Rockstar 2, you are right, because that's where all the best ingredients are, and you eat like a champion in the countryside. It's the reason, if you really, if Mark Wiens actually wants to see the real Japan and eat some food, he should go outside of Tokyo and Osaka and Kyoto and all the tourist places and go deep, and I'll introduce him to stuff that'll blow his mind. But a lot of the people, if you put the countryside, how rude. If you don't have Tokyo or Osaka or places that you want to go, nobody's gonna watch your YouTube show on that. I've had trouble in Japan because people don't search for it. But I will introduce people to some amazing food. Deep. That's right, Stan. Deep. I should do collaboration with Mark. Yeah, that'd be fun. I would love to do more collaborations with some of the foodies. Because that's something that I don't do every time. I don't do food. I'm more about Japan in general, and food is an integral part of Japanese culture. So I focus on food, but not in food specifically. See here. Everyone loves food because they have to eat it to survive. Yeah, so it's important. I didn't know the voices on the train spoke English. Chinese. What? I don't know what language that was. Where are you off to today? I'm going home. So it says here the connection's getting bad. I apologize if it cuts off, but I'll keep trying again until we're totally off. Are there any memes in Japan? I don't know. What are your favorite Japanese food? Your favorite food, John? Pizza? That's my favorite food. Of course, pizza. What other TV shows are you watching, John? What about Game of Thrones? I haven't seen any Game of Thrones. Season 1, none of them. I'll binge watch it 1 year, but it won't be this year when I have time. What other shows am I watching? Nothing really right now. I have no time. People ask me what my favorite music is. My favorite music is royalty-free music that I can use in the show. I don't listen to pop music at all. Classical music sometimes, jazz, yes. I don't listen to any popular music. That's why I don't know this dab thing. I don't listen to this stuff. I don't think a lot of the pop music people are very talented, to be honest with you. Some of them are. Yeah. So I listen to the world. I have got more respect for royalty-free music people because they let me use it in the show, and I want to give them credit. Where's Kevin Riley? Probably at home in Osaka. Would you like to visit North Korea? No. No, I don't. No, I won't. I've got a lot of friends that have. They told me it's cool, but it's maybe not the best time. What's the hourly wage in Japan? That's a great question. Right now, the minimum wage, I think it's around, I guess it'd be equivalent to like $10 an hour. And that's not a lot, actually. And most people don't even get that. Outside of Tokyo, I think it's more like $7 an hour. And a lot of, they call it a baito, arubaito, a part-time job. And it's usually very poorly paid. But that's what, a part-time job is, or like working in a convenience store, that's not supposed to be your career. Nobody's supposed to do that for making a living, and we all make choices in life. And minimum wage here is very, very low, I think, because most people will find a job doing something else using their education. Education is very high here in Japan. Everybody finishes high school, I think. So, yeah, not a lot of people. Everybody has makes a pretty good money here in Japan, where they can support themselves, or their family supports them in one way or another. It's a different system than in Japan, but in general, the CEOs don't make. If this is the CEOs in the U.S., Japanese CEOs make like this much, and then the normal person makes this much. Okay, all right. This is kind of a good thing. I want to explain it to you. This is what my Japanese friend told me about salaries in Japan. Right, when you enter a company and you make a base salary, which is not bad. It's actually quite good. And then you get promoted. Your responsibility goes up, and your salary goes like this. And then you get promoted again. Your responsibility goes up, and your salary goes like this. Okay, so even then, when you get to the CEO, you're probably here, but your responsibility is here. In the United States, when you get the CEO, you're like, salary's way up here. And I guess your responsibility is like down to here, because some of the CEOs aren't doing such a wonderful job. Japanese CEOs are just as competent as in the U.S., but they get paid way, way less. However, there's a caveat here. Japanese CEOs can use the company money almost like their own, and they do live pretty much for free. They just get receipts, and everything is company business for the most part. It's a write-off for the company. So, yeah, there's that. If you have a $1 billion company, you basically have $1 billion if you're the CEO of that company. However, your salary is not the same as like American CEOs. Not even close. Okay. Do you have any talk on the Japanese adult industry? Not really, Sir Alfred. I mean, it's a fair question. I think it's an interesting thing, in the Japan adult industry is different than in the rest of the world in many ways. I don't know a lot about it. I don't watch it, but I do know that I was asked by an agent of an adult video star, a woman, to do a YouTube video to interview her, and I thought about it and I turned it down because there's a lot of kids who watch this show, and there's a lot of families, there's a lot of mothers and fathers who write to me and say that they watch this with their son or daughter, and that means a lot to me, more than I would get for one episode with an adult star about her lifestyle. And I probably would get more subscribers and more money doing something like this, but to me the most important thing is to protect your reputation. I probably survive it, but I don't know. In Japan, your reputation is more than the money, I think, and the longer I stay here, the more I realize that. And right now, my reputation is showing a positive light of Japan and not being overly critical, but being honest about it. So I like that. I like where I am. I didn't need to do that, but I think it is a story that should be done. Somebody should do it. I will make one on a love hotel soon, so stay tuned. Come to India, I will. You'll get $4 a day wage minimum. But I will come to India. How's that? So looking at the next one. That's correct, John. Okay. What's your opinion would be to say the biggest misconception about Japan? Wow, the biggest misconception about Japan. You know what? I actually talked about this when I was in the ryokan. The biggest misconception that we have as outsiders, the first biggest one that I think I should tell you about is we see Japan as the country Japan. All right, Japanese see Japan as areas. They see Japan as 47 prefectures. And I think if you're saying you're taking a trip to Japan, that's sort of disingenuous. You're actually taking a trip to Tokyo, because Tokyo is one culture, and Aomori is a completely different place. I think, yeah, you can get the same kind of food a little bit. They speak Japanese, but the way that they talk, the way that they walk, the way that they act, I think is different. It's unique. They have their own uniqueness, and Japanese see prefectures having their own uniqueness. Westerners or foreign tourists don't see that yet. Okay, I see 47 different countries inside of Japan. Like Europe has all these countries, right? I've been living in Japan for almost 20 years. I see 47 different countries to visit. All right, that's what I see. You see, if you're coming to Japan, you see just Japan. That's one misconception, I think. I don't know if that would be considered a misconception, but that's something that I wanna highlight more in the next year. The second misconception is that Japanese people are shy. I don't think that that's especially true. I think some people are really shy. I think shyness is a good trait, but here's the thing, okay? Japanese kids are not that shy. They're the first people who come up to me. They'll stand right in front of me. Little teeny kid, 5-6 years old, look right up to me and start speaking to me in Japanese, and not knowing that even if I'm a foreigner, he doesn't see me as a foreigner. He just speaks to me in Japanese, and I respond to him, and I can have a conversation. Not shy at all. It gets around. I guess when they get to junior high school, they start to get shy about who they are. But inside of every person, they're not. They want to break out. Everybody wants to break out, and I think, yeah, if you make an effort to talk to people in Japan, you'll see that they're not really that shy. They want to talk to you back. And at first, I don't know. I guess that would be shy, but I don't see it as people in Japan being overly shy. I just see them as being keeping to themselves and being polite. They don't want to disturb you. They have a lot of questions for you, but they don't want to disturb you. And if you break the ice and you talk to them, doors open up. Man, I've gotten to where I am by talking to strangers and not being shy myself, and people talk to me back. Like Shige. Remember Shige, who you met in the streams? He's not shy. He's polite, you know? There's politeness, and then there's shy. In my opinion, I think that there's politeness, and then there's shyness. And shyness is a part of being polite. So that's a misconception, I think. The misconception that Japanese don't like having sex is a misconception. That's why the birth rate is low. I think that's a misconception. I think the birth rate is low because it's expensive to have kids, and people want to live their lives, and people are working more, and they just don't have kids. It's not because they don't want to. There's lots of reasons. Spaces are getting smaller into Tokyo. There's no reason to have lots of kids. People don't feel the need. There's lots of misconceptions, I think, and the only way to see it, the media is never going to cover it properly unless even the media in Japan doesn't cover it properly. I think you have to talk to people. And here's the thing, going back to what I said like about a minute ago. There's 47 countries in Japan. The way people think in Aomori is different than the way people think in Tokyo. You can't generalize Japan. This is like the same with the United States. People in New York think differently than in Los Angeles. People in Kyushu think differently than people in Hokkaido. I guarantee it. So don't think that Japanese people think the same. That's another thing, yeah. I think that in Sapporo, people were really outgoing. compared to Tokyo. I think Tokyo people are the most, I guess, shy or polite because there's so many people from everywhere. People don't know each other. They're all strangers from different areas of Japan. A melting pot, Tokyo is. So people are more cautious. Yeah. So, yeah, there's so many misconceptions. But the biggest one, I think, is Japanese are Japanese. It's 99.9% Japanese people, but Japanese people are all over the place. People in Fukushima are different than people in Tokyo. It's just true. And I can see those differences, but I don't think you would be able to see it unless you were here for a while. How long is your train journey? Let's see where I am. Not too much further. This train goes through Nikko. So I'm near Utsunomiya right now. You see Tokyo at the bottom? So I'm near Utsunomiya. Yeah. Do you like US? Yes, I love the United States. I'm so proud to be a part of the United States. There are so many good things about the United States, and I try to focus on all the positives. Always try to focus on the positives. And there's some things that are not so great, but I think the positives overwhelmingly dwarf the negatives of American society. And if we focus on the negatives, you're only going to see that. And I focus on the positives, and I see so many things. The thing that I love about America is that people are so friendly. You can wait in line, and you'll know everybody in that line. After a few minutes, people will turn to two strangers and just talk to you. I love that. In Japan, people will never do that. People don't do that. People don't talk to you, and I miss that, actually. The friendliness, the American friendliness, and the American optimism. I love that too. There's so many great things about the United States that I miss, and I hope I stay who I am, and that's always a part of me. And yeah, I think I'm positive about Japan always because that's how I grew up. Optimistic about the future. What kept you here instead of the USA? It's a good question. I don't know. I'm really used to living here now, and
The next stop is Tochigi. Your tickets may be checked.
I'm really used to living here. I'm very used to the lifestyle. I have a life here. I have a business here. I have a family here. I have all my professional connections are here. And to go back to America would be starting over a new life. And I'm 43. I'm not 23 or 33. I'm 43. I believe I can do a lot to help my country, United States, here in Japan by being the best person I can be in Japan, doing what I'm doing, and sharing Japan with Americans, with people around the world. I love India as well. That's where my mother's from. I have a lot of family there. Yeah, I haven't seen them in a few years. But yeah, I have a PIO card, a People of Indian Origin, so I don't need a visa to go to India. So that's also part of who I am. And India is awesome because people are pretty tolerant with everybody. That's the one thing I go around. People call everybody brother and sister in India, and I always like that too. They don't do that in the United States. Nobody's like family. People are like family in India. That was my sense, anyways, because maybe I was always with my family. It's hard to say, but I like the closeness of people in India. Yeah, so that's all a part of who I am. Yeah. Dob sounds like German. It is. Dob, my grandfather on my father's father was German. Was German. He passed away. His name is also John Dob. He was born in 1912, 1911 or 1912, I forget, 1911. Yeah. And his father, or his grandfather, emigrated from Germany, from Heidelberg, to the United States. And they settled in New York. And that's where my dad was born, in New York. And yeah, it's a German last name. I've been to Germany several times. I have family there. don't know any German, and I don't feel the connection to Germany as I do with India, but there's a connection. And with England, my grandmother was English. She emigrated from Oxfordshire, which is I guess that's not north of London, and they emigrated in the 1920s or 1930s from England to the United States to New York, and that's where my grandfather met my grandmother in New York after they'd emigrated. And then my dad was born in New York, so he's a son of immigrants, and my mother she is an immigrant. Well, she's American now. Yeah, so that's sort of my background. I miss Waterfall Onsen. I kind of do too. I like that. My fingers were wrinkled from most of those 8 days. My skin is kind of dry. The one thing about Japan in the winter is it gets really, really, really dry. And in the summer, it's really, really, really humid. So, especially in the mountains, it's super dry. You are world diversity in one. Just waiting for some Chinese ancestry. I got family in like 24 countries. We have family in New Zealand and Poland. Also, I have some Polish background in me. There's some Polish family members. I have family everywhere. And there's one Dob in Japan. That would be me, and we have them everywhere. Thank you, Nasha Broad. I'm always so thankful Nasha's taking care of the stream. Are you going to take the 23andMe test? What is that test? I don't know. How did your parents meet? So my father, his job is those big oil tanker ships, and that's what he does for a living. He's a captain, and he traveled the world. And my mom was in India, and long story short, they met in India and fell in love, and then I guess she came to America. He came to India to pick her up, and they went back to America. That's long story short. So he was a world traveler, just he used ships instead of planes. John is mixed with different races. I'm like all of you guys out there, just all mixed up. I'm the biggest mutt. No, there are bigger mutts than me, but I'm pretty much a mutt. I'm a product of a lot of races. And imagine if I get married to a Japanese lady here, and then we have kids. Those kids are gonna be messed up. You can trace, at least on my side, I'm gonna really mix this kid up. I have to give him a really diverse name too. So maybe not a Japanese name. Give him a really German name or something to really mix it up. Good. So no wife, no kids. I'm not married. That doesn't mean I won't be in the future. Some things I won't talk about yet, but life has been really good. But I've been really busy the last year. I've been on traveling like crazy, and this kind of lifestyle is not good for long relationships, if you can tell. But I think 43 is the new 23. Somebody said. I think that person who said it was 53. So 23andMe is a DNA test. You know what? I think these DNA tests, if they're brand new, I'm gonna wait a little bit before I take any DNA tests like that, because I never do first generation anything, including the Apple Watch and Apple products. Never take a first generation. Always wait for the second or the third generation. So give the DNA tests a little bit more time, and then I might take it. But I'm not. You know what? I am me, and whatever happens, that's life. I don't really need to know. 43 is the new 23. When I get to 53, that'll be the new 23 too. It's been around for about 2 years. Really? Okay, so that puts it the second generation. Maybe next year. Mixed breed alert. Oh yeah. So I'm reading your comments here. They're coming pretty fast. How do you do super? What does that mean? John, do you believe in Japanese gods? Like believe? No, probably not. I believe I'm spiritual, but I don't. Gosh, I'm so mixed. I don't know what religion I believe in. I believe in God. I believe in have a religious background, but I'm gonna keep it to myself. John isn't. I'm not God. I'm not a lowercase God either. I ship John and Jennifer. John, are you a gamer? Alright, here's the thing. I want to be, but I'm never around to play games. I have this. This is the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 7. I don't have time. I'm literally... If I played games, I'd never edit anything. And, like, I know Simon from Simon and Martina. He's a huge gamer. Because when I go there, he's playing a game. I don't see them very often, but when I go there, he's like playing a game. I don't know how he gets time, but on my free time, I'm listening to royalty-free music, and I'm thinking about the show, to be honest with you, or I'm traveling, or I'm sleeping. Nintendo Switch might be an idea. I used to be when I was a kid. I was a massive gamer. Oh my gosh, I played the Nintendo, the original one, with Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Oh man, I was pretty good at that too. I would just dedicate hours and hours and hours. And I do that with editing now, so I can't say that I'm an awful gamer now. But the thing is, the games are so complex now. It's hard for me to get into it. You have to invest a lot of time to get into the games. These. But ever since Peter won the job as Springman, if you play the game, Nintendo game Springman, Peter is Springman. And I also auditioned to be Springman, but I didn't win. It was I was close, but I think they were just telling me that to be nice to me. Yeah, Peter went down to Nintendo to Kyoto's office. The head office is in Kyoto, and he did the narrations for Springman. So that was pretty cool. So I'm glad he did that, kept it in the family. People that I know. John, what about Trump? I'm not gonna talk about politics. You know what? Whether or not I agree with who the president of the United States is politically, whoever they are, I'm going to support the United States, and that's all I want to say about that. You know, I'm going to support my country here in Japan, and there was a chance that I could have met President Trump when he was here a couple weeks ago. They told me he was going to a steak restaurant in Roppongi and to stand by, and they would tell me to come. So I had my camera, and I was going to go to meet Trump, and then they changed the restaurant to a place in Ginza instead. I think that was the story, and my friend told me that, sorry, we got he came earlier than expected. Oh, that was it. He came earlier than expected. Leo, thanks for the super chat. So I could have met Trump, and I would have been happy to, just like I would have been happy to met Obama or Bush or Clinton. It doesn't really matter. When somebody from overseas, you know, the president of your country comes, despite the party, you go and you meet them. That's just the kind of person I am. Did you speak Japanese? Okay, these are good questions, Leo. Did you speak Japanese before you moved to Japan? No, nothing, not a word. I didn't even know konnichiwa, Leo. I didn't know anything. Number 2, do you get full amount of super chat? I don't know, actually. I think probably YouTube takes some of it. I would think that they do. Patreon takes some of it. So I think so. I'm not sure. That's a good question. And what's your favorite food? Pizza. And in Japan, probably that sauce katsudon I just had, because that's what I'm thinking about in my mind. Okonomiyaki, Hiroshima style okonomiyaki, is also like really, really high on my list. Yeah, that's a great question. This is the sauce katsudon. I put it on Instagram. This changed my life. This is a life changer. That was so good. Great questions, Leo. Leo, I think he gets like 66%. Really, Nosh? I have no idea. YouTube takes 33%? Whoa. All I know is that, alright, YouTube has an analytics and tells me how much it's making, but when a super chat comes in, I see the total and I go, whoa, and then I just feel, I don't know how much they take. I just feel like you guys gave something from the heart and what you felt, and that makes me feel good, and that's, but if they take it 33%, I'm going to ask my YouTube partner manager about that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
That's something I should check up on you. Next time if somebody asks, I'll have a definitive answer.
the doors
Feed
on
it
the
to
left
Jennifer.
side will open.
Yes!
Those passengers
We gotta feed Jennifer.
wishing to use the
She just got back from a trip in Hachijojima, so she's been well fed. What do you think about Latin America? I think Latin America is pretty cool. I'll be honest with you, I don't know.
ありがとうございます。この電車は特急リバティ指定となっております。指定の座席以外にお座りのお客様には
We're back. Sorry.
特急券の確認を
Like
させてい
this
ただきます。
4G was dead in the station there for some reason. Yeah, Latin America. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but yeah, I found a picture. I was in Peru. So I don't know if that's Latin America. I think to me that's Peru.
The next stop is
Yeah, that was fun.
Your tickets may be checked.
Here's one where I was at the equator. That was a pretty cool trip. Look, I'm on the north and the south. Ah! That was 2003. I traveled all around South America and Central America. I got to see Panama, Guatemala, Nicaragua. I stayed just about everywhere, and yeah, I love it. The food was awesome. Yeah, there's one in Panama. So yeah, I don't know much. I don't know what Latin America or Hispanic. I don't think like that. I don't like Americans put themselves into groups. African American, Asian American. I think that's stupid. I think it's basically you are who you are. You're American, or you are. I don't know why people put themselves in a group. To be honest with you, never thought about it. And same with Latin America. I don't know what Latin America means. I just think people are American if they're in the United States. If you're American, you're American. Colombia was good. I love Colombia. I've never seen so many people, like a lot of smiles, a lot of people were very outgoing, talking to me. Colombia was cool. And I didn't even see that much of it. It was just basically Bogota. Did you buy souvenirs for Peter? No. Peter, I really didn't have time to go shopping for souvenirs. Wow, you would have been worldwide. I've been to 71 countries. Many of them more than once. Aizu? There's nobody on this train. The train is empty. So, I'm not bothering anybody. That's why I'm doing the chat for 70 minutes. The train is pretty much empty. Yeah, so I'll tell you my story a little bit. I think I explained it in the 360 chat, but when I came to Japan, one of the reasons was because I was curious. I hadn't been to this part of Asia, but I'd love to travel. And I went to Ohio State University. Most of my friends were not from Ohio. They were from all over the world because I worked in an international dormitory. And they all invited me to go visit them. And so I did. And I traveled, and I kept traveling until I ran out of money. And then that's when I went to Japan, and I got a job teaching children English. And I made not a lot of money, but I was able to save up enough. I didn't have any school loans because I had a job. I worked through school, most of it. And yeah, I spent the first couple of years traveling and learning about the world, and I got to meet my friends, and I saw so many different cultures. It's pretty cool. And this was before 2001, before the terrorist attack, and I found that I was, wow, the world was such an amazing place back then, easy to travel around. And then after 2001, it got really hard, and I saw a lot. Yeah. What about UFC? What is UFC? Have you been to Soma yet? Soma in Miyagi Prefecture? Yeah. There's that's north in Fukushima on the border. Yeah. I've been up there. Minami Soma. I went to Minami Soma, and I've been to, wow, I went after the earthquake and the tsunami. We went up there to a couple of places. Tsunami San Rico, I think. Wow, there's so many. This was a few years ago. I went back. In fact, there was a video that I made on the main channel called Pokemon with You, the Pokemon train. And Pokemon train went to a place called Ishinomaki. See Ishinomaki on the map here? Ishinomaki is, yeah, that's a place that I also visited after, and it's changed a lot. And gosh, I can't say this enough. If you're a tourist in Japan and you go to these places, you will be so warmly welcomed by everybody, because they used to get tourists before this happened, and of course people didn't go there for a while, but now if you go up there, like, Ishinomaki's fine. Everybody wants to tell you their story, so you get all these stories about that day. When I was there, I went up with a friend of mine named Mike, and we drove a truck full of food. This was about a month after it happened, and we drove a truck of food up there to people from Tokyo. And my friend Mike, he's one of the nicest people. He doesn't think about himself. He just gives, and he doesn't think about other people. And that one trip I went up with him, and we got Aussie Beef to help us out, and Aussie Beef sponsored and gave us, like, I don't know, like, massive amount of steaks, and we barbecued for the people of Ishinomaki for one night to give them a really fun dinner. I think there were 6 of us on that trip. Maybe you have a picture. That was such an awesome memory. And when I was up, no, it wasn't Ishinomaki. I think it was I can't remember exactly the town. It was between Soma and Ishinomaki, I believe. Kesanuma. I think it was Kesanuma. Yeah. So we were in Kesanuma, and the people were just so friendly and nice. And after the barbecuing, we walked through the city, and we could see a lot of the ruins. It was awful. It looked like a war zone. There were cars flipped. There was a bus. There was a boat that it was pretty bad. And there was a guy, and he was removing his refrigerator. I think he was bringing the refrigerator in. So Mike and I helped him bring the refrigerator into his house, and his house was in awful shape. It had been flooded, and there was sand and gunk on it, and he had wood boards to walk on, and he was still living in there, I guess, on the 2nd floor. And then he just, oh man, I get a little emotional with this story, but he started telling us his story on that day when the tsunami hit. I'll probably tell this story again next year during the anniversary, but this is still this is a story that I won't forget. He told us about how on that day, he lost his wife and kids, and his kids were outside playing, and his wife went out there to go look for them, and then the tsunami came, and they were gone. And oh man, I would love to go back there and see how he's doing, but he showed us pictures of them. Imagine, like, a 1 month after, how raw, and he's still living alone. So we had some tea with him, and gave him a pat on the back, show some humanity, you be around people. And then we had to go. It got a little bit too uncomfortable because you don't know where the line is. Yeah, but it makes you realize how important our lives are and the people around us, and just like that, everything can change, just like that. He's alone, just like that. And yeah. There's too many stories. After the earthquake and tsunami, almost all of my foreign friends left Tokyo. Especially the Europeans, they were the first to go. Nothing against the French, but everybody who was French had a free air flight out of Tokyo, and Americans did not have a flight out, and there was this fear for radiation at the time, and I said that this is my home. So I didn't leave. I stayed in Tokyo despite all the bad stuff that was happening, and yeah, we called. There was this word going around, flygene. You know, gaijin is foreigner. Flygene. They were the foreigners who flew away after the earthquake and the tsunami, and Tokyo was a ghost town for foreign residents in March, April, May, I think until the summer. All the foreign residents, out of uncertainty and fear, had left Tokyo and Japan, but there were a few of us that stuck around, and we fought it out. we made an impact. I think we kind of helped in our own little way, and yeah, it's those tough times that I think you remember the most about Japan. Yeah, those are tough days. You know, we didn't have, the supermarkets ran out of food. This is Japan, okay? How that earthquake and tsunami was so bad, Tokyo ran out of food for a few days. I think I got some pictures from that day. We ran out of water. We ran out of food. People were stockpiling stuff. It was pretty crazy. Let me see if I can pull up some of those pictures. But I'll never forget the aftermath. Yeah, you can see here. This is my supermarket. There was no water left. They're trying to restock it, but they didn't have any left. It kept running out. It was only like really expensive water. What's the difference between American and Japanese TV? All right, good. I'm happy to get off that subject. I'm happy to get off that subject. Oh, this is a picture of the wine glass I lost. I lost all my wine glasses too. Japanese TV is stupid, and American TV has become very sophisticated. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Japanese TV. It's usually too sad, or too not good. Acting is hard in Japan because people don't express their emotions like they do, and their emotions are inside. So when they have to express their emotions, the outer appearance, it's hard when most people are poker faced in Japan. You can't do that in acting. You have to show your emotion, and it's hard to do that, I think, for Japanese actors. That's my, don't take that as fact. That's just my opinion. That's one of the reasons why there's not a lot of international Japanese actors that are big, because people have a hard time showing it, because Japanese culture in general is not one where you show your emotion. That's the way I feel. So you see that in TV. Acting is not the best, but the stories are getting better. I think Netflix is making a huge difference. Even with Netflix Japan is trying to find ways to break into foreign markets. That means they got to make better shows. So it's great that Netflix Japan is here to push the envelope. The best shows, I think, are the reality shows when you get to know the people. Like live streaming, you get to know the people. And I think that's where Japan can excel. It's not going to be in scripted acting. At least I don't think so. Japanese game shows, that's a totally different subject. I can talk to you for years about those. Korean actors are amazing, the best in the world. Yeah, you know, Korean dramas have a big aisle in the Japanese video stores. They always have. So I don't watch Korean dramas, so I don't know. But I know that a lot of Japanese watch Korean dramas. I didn't know that Koreans showed that much emotion either, but I guess they do. The honest answer is I just don't know enough about Korea. Most of the stuff I know about Korea, I know from Simon and Martina. I used to live there because I asked them and they tell me. Where are you headed to, John? I'm going home. I've been in Fukushima for 8 days filming. Reverend Retro Cat, let's hold a prayer for John. Reality TV is scripted too. Frank, this show isn't scripted. I think I think it's not scripted, but it's planned. Does that make sense? It's not scripted, but it's planned. I think these live streams, a lot of them, I will walk through it with Peter. I'll walk through it with Jennifer, and then we'll do it. And it makes for a better live stream because I don't want to waste your time with nothing. We usually have a plan, but it's anything can happen. It's not a script, it's like a plan. So in that sense, yeah, I guess you're right. You must be happy to go to beef. What? Hi John, we've seen Peter's house. When are we gonna see yours and Jennifer's? I'm thinking of moving soon, so I'm not sure. I might make an episode on that. How's that? And then you can see both houses, the new one and the old one. Everybody did a house tour already, so I don't see it as original content, which doesn't fit with my MO. I like to be the first at somewhere. Like, alright, nothing on Charla, but a lot of viewers told me that Charla went to the Akihabara vending machine and the Akihabara shrine. I did that like earlier this year with Peter. So not to say anything, but I got the first. And I like to, although other YouTubers might have done it, I didn't find it. And I like that. I like to be the first one to get to and cover a subject because I want to find and research it and not copy someone else. I don't think she copied it, but I mean, I wonder where she learned about it from. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Just saying. Most actors in Dirty Hearts are Japanese. It's a good movie. Okay. I mean, if you know a good Japanese movie, I will check it out. Definitely write it in the comments or leave me a note. Madagascar. I haven't been there yet. Are you talking about the anime? The cartoon? Which prefecture have you not been to? I've been to all of them. Almost all of them twice. So, been to all 47 prefectures. When are you moving to another prefecture in Japan? I don't know. I need to get a job there. It's all about me working there. I can't go there and just be a tourist. I want to get in touch and learn the culture. That means I have to work there. I said the same and they took credit for it. I don't know what you mean. Questions. What's your favorite movie and video game? Favorite movie? I'd have to say... Alright, for the longest time, my favorite movie was Babe. The one with the pig. I love that movie. The cinematography, the storyline, the underdog comes back and wins. There was everything to love about that movie. Cute animals speaking, and just you wanted Babe to win. And that same year, Braveheart came out, and I loved Braveheart as well. That was the Mel Gibson movie, in Scotland. I don't have to tell you. Braveheart won the Academy Award, but deep down I was rooting for Babe. That year made some awesome movies, and Babe, yeah, Babe's up there. Babe is up there. I can watch that movie 100 times. That'll do, pig. That'll do. It's just, yeah. It's a darn good movie. Shawshank Redemption was around the same time. That's an awesome movie. But here's the thing, okay? Shawshank Redemption, I can watch that maybe once every couple of years. I can't watch that over and over. Babe, man, I can watch that over and over and over again. I didn't care for Babe in the City, but the original Babe was the best. When the sheep had their own secret password. I mean, there's so many things in that movie that was so genius. This is stuff that I would have written, and then people would say that it was dorky, but that's the kind of person I am. I'm probably more in the Babe script type of person than, yeah, the stuff that you might be wanting. You probably saw that in the Fukushima Spy episode, which was pretty fun. It just wasn't very popular on YouTube. Yeah. Probably my favorite movie would be Lawrence of Arabia as well. If you haven't seen Lawrence of Arabia, watch that movie. That's such a complex movie. I watch that maybe once every year. Lawrence of Arabia is a classic. That'll never get old. They used to make movies like that in Hollywood where it was an epic movie. It was a classic from the moment it debuted. It was an epic movie, and they don't do that anymore. They do it for quick, like people looking for an injection of excitement. Back then it was like, whoa, these were long movies that had amazingly deep stories to them. Do you have a celeb crush? Leo Senpai. Not really. No. I don't really get into the celebrities. There was many years ago. I don't want to talk about that. No, I'll keep it to myself. I know a lot of the celebrities. I used to do a show, at least in Japan, and I used to do a show called TBS Hiruobi. I just haven't been around to do it anymore. They ask me sometimes to help them with interviews for the show, which is sort of cool. But Hiruobi was a... do I have it somewhere? When I was on that show, I got to meet a lot of celebrities in Japan. I'd be in the dressing room with them. Where did I put those pictures? Can't really find them. But yeah, no celebrity crush really. I've been on a lot of Japanese. I've been on every Japanese TV channel, I think, on one show or another, for one reason or another. Mostly for this show. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right, here. Let's see if this works. So this is from... So that's me on Hiruobi. You can't hear, but that was a live TV show. That's like a news program in Japan that millions of people watch in Japan. So I was pretty honored to be on that. I don't get nervous anymore doing stuff like that. You just do it. You don't think about it. You plan and you do it. Yeah, I've been on Hiruobi like 10 times, I think, over the years. So, yeah, it's a really cool show. They've got a good vibe. It's just fresh, you know. The Hiruobi it's always fresh, and that's Megumi-san. Megumi is the navigator of the show, the host. He's so smart. He's so clever. You can see in his eyes, he's thinking fast. And that working with him on that show, like just being in the same area of him was like huge. I love your videos, John. Varun, I love your videos. A token for your mobile bandwidth. Thank you. And this is all streaming on Docomo's 4G, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Hiruobi is for leftist people. You know what? I don't know. I don't talk about politics on the show, though. It could be political. So, all right. In Japanese TV, there is a left and a right, just like Fox News and MSNBC. All right. If Fox News and MSNBC is like this, the Japanese left and right is like this. Okay. It's not really that different, I don't think, but it's there. And I don't get into the politics in Japan. I know about it, but you know, when I'm on that show, I talk about tourism. I talk about the places that I've been to and my experiences. I don't talk about politics, so I don't know if it's a left or right show. I just know that the Megumi-san is really smart, and he's funny, and he's really nice to me. I know that there's this guy. I thought he was a clown, but he's really a rock star. Where is he? His name is Damon, and Damon is. I talked to him a few times, and he's really cool. He's really nice to me as well. And there's a guy who's always on it. And he smiles and he says hi to me. He's pretty nice. So I don't know the politics of Hiruobi. I just know that it's a pretty cool show to be on for me, and I have fun. They have good bentos in the studio. They had a yakiniku bento. They had they let me take the bento home too if I don't eat it. I thought that was pretty nice. and they always let me come in a taxi, and they pay for the taxi to go there. So I go there in style. So I'm always happy to do that. I can't find the. Oh, is it here? Maybe. No. Okay. Oh, this one. Yeah. So I was on the front page of a newspaper, and do you remember this one? You guys remember this one? That's me and Joseph looking inside the toilet. This is from 3 years ago. This is the front page of the newspaper in Japan. So I got a chance to be on a lot of. Oh, this is Tokyo Eye. That's the Tokyo Eye program. I've been on 4 different sets of Tokyo Eye. I've been on that show has changed a lot. It's changed a lot over the years. Oh, there he is. One of the most interesting people I've ever met. So here's a picture on Hirobi, okay? This is another day. And in the studio is this really amazing guy. His name is Damon. And he always has makeup. He comes to the studio in makeup. And he's really, really nice. And he talks to me sometimes about sumo wrestling. He knows all the sumo wrestling. He knows everything about sumo wrestling. And it's a big honor. And the guy sitting next to me also in here, he's really nice too. And he always says hi to me and welcomes me on the show. And this is the host. His name is Megumi-san. And when we talk, he's so smart. He can. I mean, if you watch Hirobi, maybe you can't see it, but he's got like this way where he's examining everybody's faces, and he's reading the air, kuki yomeru, and he knows when I'm when to ask a certain kind of question to me. It's just like an instinct with him, and he's the ultimate professional. And I being on that show, I learned so much. Like being able to do the live streams, I think I got experience being on a show like that, doing live TV. That helped a lot. To kind of see the stuff around you and react to it, and not see yourself, work with the stuff around you. Damon looks like Buckethead Rockstar. I don't know who Buckethead is, but I have to admit, I've only heard one of Damon's songs. I should probably listen more. He's a big rock singer, star here, but the only thing I know about him is that he knows sumo really well, and he's a nice guy. That's it. He's a very nice guy. The newer host of Tokyo 2020 is a bit uptight. What do you mean newer host? Is there a new host? It's not Chris anymore? It's not Chris? I thought Chris Pepler was still doing it. John is being called Yokozuna, a bad or good thing in Japan. Yokozuna is a top level sumo wrestler, so it's a good thing, I think, if you're a sumo wrestler. It's Chris Pepler, right? So Chris is not new. He's been doing it since I've been doing it. I think the 99th or the 101st episode was my first episode in 2008. Was my first episode of Tokyo Eye. Almost 10 years ago. I've been doing Tokyo Eye for almost 10 years. But we had a really small studio in NHK, and the show has grown a lot. And I'm really happy to see Tokyo Eye getting this big. I know the show is getting better. I'd like to think the show is getting better, but I think the show needs to challenge itself more. Do you like Miyazaki's movies? Yeah, I like Ghibli's movies. I don't know if I like the new stuff. You have to prove it to me. But I love Totoro, Sento Chihiro, Kiki's Delivery Service. Yeah, these are classics. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I could watch Totoro 1,000 times. I think I have. Japanology looked so retro 70s in the early seasons. Yeah, So did you know what? Tokyo Eye looked retro in 10 years ago. You want to see the Tokyo Eye studio from? I think I have a picture. Tokyo Eye studio from 2008 it was ghetto, like ghetto retro, because the part that you couldn't see on the top had cardboard boxes all over it. It was a mess, and then the studio, it was so small. Let me see if I can find one. Here's a picture from my first. Okay, look how young Chris was. All right, this is my first episode. We both look pretty young. There's me, my first episode of Tokyo Eye. Look at the purple and yellow stuff behind it, the brick wall. This is like 1980s stuff. I'm introducing to Chris stuff that I bought. Look how ghetto retro the I mean this like it's too urban looking. The show didn't have a big budget back then. The next studio was my favorite. This one was brighter. Chris is mixed. I guess he's Japanese American. I don't know if he's American or Japanese, but one of his parents is American. I believe his father, and his mother was Japanese, I believe. So I'm surprised I don't know. We spend a lot of time talking over the years, waiting in the studio. Yeah, this is by far my favorite one. I used to work with a guy named Kevin Cooney, and Kevin, that's Kevin on the right, he was a big YouTuber, way bigger than I was. I still see him as like one of the godfathers of J-vloggers. Okay, Tokyo Cooney, I think, was his, this is like years and years ago. Tokyo Cooney. Yeah, that was his YouTube name. And one of the most talented people in front of a camera that I ever met. Just funny, natural, authentic. Did I say funny? Yeah. Because he was a comedian. And he's back in the United States now, and he works for another TV channel. That's what one of the directors from the show told me. But we used to always do reports together, and he was fun to work with. Sometimes a little challenging, and we sometimes didn't get along, but that's life. This one, Akihabara, I was a rapper. I rapped with the Akihabara rapper, but he's not there anymore. Gosh, there's so many wonderful memories from NHK shows and the location shoots. If I didn't do this show, only Tokyo Eye, I wouldn't have started only in Japan. I was on the set of this show, Mina de Nihongo, and I got to meet her. She's a really big celebrity here. That's Akiko Wada. And here's some people on the stage. Yeah. I didn't really like being in this show too much. Japanese TV is not as good. I prefer to do this. I prefer this. John in a maid outfit. They made me. I had no choice. I really did. When were you wearing? Okay. That. So, I went to a really cool cafe, and what was cool about it was that the maids. Oh, this one, yeah. The maids were dudes. It was a pretty weird. I think it's still it's called New. This is a maid cafe in Akihabara called New Type. All right. They were really friendly. They were guys, and they were, I guess, cross-dressed. I'm not sure, but they were maids. They were really good at playing video games with us, and they were really friendly, and I didn't care. And then the one guy, I don't know if he was a guy or a girl, but he was a maid to me, and he said, you want to put the maid dress on? And they put me on the spot, and I said, sure. I tried it on. It's not the most comfortable dress in the world. I don't know how French maids do it, to be honest with you. I don't. Yeah, so there's that. We'll save that for another story. Leo, why can't idols have boyfriends? I talked with a friend of mine about this, and the reason is that there wasn't a celebrity in Japan named Becky. I'm sorry if I make a mistake with this story, and it's gonna be really short. Becky she's English. She's half English and Japanese, and I thought she had some American in her, but her name is Becky. She's known just as Becky. And last year there was a big scandal where she's unmarried, by the way. She had an affair with a married guy, a guy I think who might have lied to her and told her, stuff that he was leaving his wife and stuff like this. But she had such a clean image, okay? And when the scandal broke, and it was all his fault, apparently. The scandal broke, they made her out to look like such a wicked person for having an affair, like a housebreak, she ruined this marriage. And the guy seemed to get off. He was another celebrity. The guy seemed to get off just fine, and she almost lost her career. And I felt a little bit bad about what she was going through, because my God, in the USA, if you make one mistake, you go to rehab and you come back stronger, right? In Japan, you do that. It's usually curtains. Women in Japan have to have that image of being angels, and once that fantasy is over, it breaks the reality, the fantasy for the fans, and then it's over. So Becky's problem was that her image was an angel, the good girl, the girl next door that just smiles and is always doing the right thing. And she did the wrong thing, and she ruined her image. And idols are the same to their fans in Japan. They're above everything. They're on a pedestal. Okay, there's the idol, and then there's the fan. And if the idols come down to the same level as everybody else, they lose that fantasy, and it's over. That's why. I think. Yeah. Is it right? I don't know. We all have different cultures. Do I agree with it? No. Do I care? No. It's not a big deal to me. If they don't want that life, they can get out. They pick that life. And the people who idolize idols are slightly insane, I think. But that's the way the world works, That's the way the world works. Every culture is different. Japan has their own way. And we have an expression, Junin Toido. Different strokes for different folks. There's 10 people, 10 colors. I don't question it. You just say that's the way it is here. Yeah. What else you got? It's kind of pedophilia. Mr. Potter, you're not wrong. But I don't know. I really don't know, because I don't know anything about. I don't know what goes through the mind of somebody who is a pedophile, and I don't know if it's the same in the countries, because look, I mean, I when I did the episode on Shonen Jump, this is supposed to be a magazine for boys, and there's pictures of topless women on it. So most of these kids are grown up with that kind of a culture, They're surrounded by this manga culture of like this, and I don't know how much of that sticks and doesn't stick. I think it's different, but it's not good. I just don't know. Ladybeard works here. It wouldn't work anywhere else. Do male idols exist in Japan? I don't know. I don't want to know. To be honest. Alright, we're getting close to Tokyo. I'm gonna let this live stream. There's people now. That's a major improvement. So I'm gonna end this live stream in a minute, and the bandwidth is probably getting pretty heavy. you have any more questions? Where will you be moving? Somewhere in Tokyo, I think. But I'm gonna try to live into local areas more with the show, and try to do live streaming and more episodes. I've seen a crowd of middle-aged to older men going nuts for Japanese idols. Florencia, they're not going nuts in a sexual way, and I'd say 99% of them don't have any sexual attraction. I think it's weird attraction. I don't know exactly what it is. I was talking to my friend Kai. He's a reporter in this world. He gives me some information. I'm being perfectly honest here. I don't know what the attraction is for the guys that are in the crowd idolizing the idols. This isn't only in Japan episode though. I think though. Let me see if I can find Kai. Kai's got a really cool Instagram. So let me plug Kai's Instagram. Sneaker Mania, I think, is his handle name. Yeah, Sneaker Mania. Alright. You see that? Sneaker Mania. If you go to his Instagram page, Sneaker Mania, SNEAKERMANIA on Instagram, and he's got pictures of a lot of idols at these concerts, and he has access and permission to shoot in there. And he's been on the show many times. Some of his. Oh, and he loves burgers too, so you might like his stream. Let's see. But yeah, Kai knows all this stuff, so he's the person. Oh, did you just follow him? Cool. Kai Okudara is his name. He knows all this stuff, and he's the person I should ask. I really don't know what goes through those people's minds, but they feel a passion, I guess. That's why they say moe. They feel like this desire for even two-dimensional things. It's definitely not sexual, or it's not the same sexual thing that we feel as Westerners, maybe. I don't know what it is. It's a totally weird, only in Japan type of thing, okay? Alright. Yeah, that's right. Sneaker Mania. Cool. He's got a lot of... Check him out, because he's got a lot of the idol stuff on his thing, and he has a pretty good Instagram page. Food idols. I mean, for many people, that's like the perfect Instagram. Retrocat, I'm no savior. I'm no lord. Come on. Thank you, John, for answering. You're very welcome. I'm always going to answer if I can, if I see the comment. What's more expensive, the country life or the city life? City life. That's easy. His Insta page is aesthetic. Do you like Supreme? Like Burrito Supreme? Yeah. Do you feel like you're living there? Are you living their dream through the idols? Maybe. You know, Mr. Potter, you could be right there. That might be something I look into more now that people are talking about it. So after you arrive in Tokyo, what next, John? Editing. An update on Kickstarter for the DVD project, and I have to edit and put videos up. A lot of them. The Postcard Club on Patreon has 5 postcards left. If you want to buy a postcard, Postcard Club has 5 available for next month. I have to make the design for the next month's postcard and start to send that out. I like doing that. John owe me DVD. I do owe you a DVD. Can you link any NHK World shows? I don't know. They haven't video on demand, but Journeys in Japan is the one I think that's on now. Why don't you hire someone and expand a little? I'm actually thinking of doing that. There's a friend of mine recommended a friend who right now would love to help me, but I haven't had time to meet this friend. I've been home 3 days in the last like 6 weeks. So I haven't had time to do that, but in December I will. Next adventure, probably going to be in Tokyo for a little bit, but in January expect some big things. Okay. Driving test is December 14th. If you ever quit YouTube, what would you be doing then? TV? I don't know. Something will happen. Something will open up. I think this experience is a path that leads to the next one. It's not like choosing where it goes. You don't know where it goes. And there's YouTubers who will find a career out of this that has nothing to do with YouTube. They'll leave what they're doing to start something else. It's a path that takes you to another direction. What? I used to work in a warehouse. It's Ocean Spray was the company, and I would repackage big juice bottles. It was a hard job. More than minimum wage. It was a warehouse job. I'd be like this every day. And one of the people told me, he told me that whatever you do in life, and my parents also told me that something similar to this, but he was pretty specific. He said, whatever you do in life, whether it's repackaging the juice boxes or cleaning a toilet or it doesn't even matter. Do it better. Do it the best that you can and try to do it better than anybody else, and you will always have a job. Another door will open for you to go somewhere else. Someone will always hire you. If you can clean a toilet so clean and be proud of the job that you do and not look down on that, you could probably find a job anywhere, because you're that type of person that will get their hands dirty and do something better than anybody else. And that's sort of the philosophy I take. And if you have that, then I don't have to worry what's next. What's next will come. If I make my shows the best that I can make it, something will come. Another path will open. Maybe TV. Maybe something else. Game company would be fun. I don't know how to program. Oh, that was Charla. Went to the vending machines in Charmander channel. Motivational words, even it's short. Thanks for that, John. You're very welcome. I think it's true, and I think we need to have some humility in life. I honestly think if you ask somebody, even if it's like a CEO, go and clean a toilet, and that's your job for today, and that was their mission, they should go in there and be able to clean it cleaner than anything else. And if they can do that mission, I think not only they're humble to get down on their hands and knees, I think that's a trait that somebody that I would want to hire. A person who can do that probably can connect with anybody, because they don't think too highly of themselves, or they look down on somebody. I don't know. That's what I took away from the person I worked with at Ocean Spray. That was a pretty big life lesson. I learned a lot from the people working in the warehouse. Collab with Mark, maybe. I also like Food Ranger. He's pretty cool. The Food Ranger. I watch his shows. Have you been to Shimanokai? Yeah, I've been there many times in the past. Has tourism in Fukushima been affecting you based on your observation? Yeah, a little bit. Tourism is down in Fukushima, and I've said this a few times. I used to live in Fukushima. I mean, I do have a connection to the prefecture. I didn't live there for very long, but it's definitely down. There were some hotels that were kind of empty that shouldn't be, because it's too beautiful of a place to be that empty. Just misunderstanding about that name. All right, one more minute. We're going on like 2 hours here. Fukushima wa taihen. Yeah, it is really a tough situation for Fukushima. But like, the thing, Fukushima, it's such a big prefecture, okay? You can't say that one area is the whole prefecture. So we use it too loosely, Fukushima, when referring to that. Fukushima to me is areas, Aizu, Wakamatsu, Bandai, Fukushima City, Koriyama, Iwaki. To me, it's really segmented, and to drive from one side to the other is like over 4 hours, okay? It's a pretty big prefecture. But hopefully the tourism comes back. It used to be one of the most touristed places. Even the Japanese aren't going enough to Fukushima, okay? It's not just the foreign tourists. Days are 29. I'm thinking of visiting Japan next year, but I don't know where to visit. Could you suggest some ideas? If it's your first time to Japan, I think everybody should go and see Tokyo and Osaka and do the stuff that everybody else does. It just depends on how much time you have, but I highly recommend to go to Onsen or ryokan outside of the city center. It doesn't even matter where. Just pick one and go to an onsen town and stay there for 2 nights and get to know like the local cuisine and the local culture, and it's gonna blow you away. Onsen ryokan is the most traditional Japanese experience that I've had in 20 years in Japan, and that's one reason why even the Japanese go back and they do onsen tours. It's relaxing, and you feel like you're in Japan, if that makes sense. Tokyo to me feels like a big city. Culturally, ryokan and that culture of omotenashi and that service, that's Japan to me. That's Japan. So get outside. It doesn't even matter where. Get outside of the path and go to a ryokan for 2 nights and just pay. It's like $140, but you get 2 meals. It's worth it. It's worth it. Stay 2 nights if you can. All right, I think that's about it. Correct, onsen is awesome. Yes, it is. I went to 13 of them. Everyone had their own uniqueness. Whether it was the bath, the altitude, it was covered or open. There was a river, or there was a sea, or there was nothing, just trees. Just beautiful and unique and an experience. All right. Will I ever collab with Abroad in Japan? I don't know. I've met him. He has my number. We do different stuff. I don't want to collab with. I don't know. I don't see the advantage of collabing with other YouTubers that do sort of the same thing. I like to introduce you to my friends, who I think I can help them. If I do one with them, I don't think it has any value. And to be honest, I think he has his own experiences. I like people who are, and this is the same with, I think Simon and Martina in the same way. They have people that are experts at what they do, and my friends are experts at sort of what they do. And I like bringing Peter on because Peter has a different perspective that, and he's been here for 20 years, so he's an expert on things Japan. Jennifer's been here for 20 years. Kevin's been here for 20 years. So we're all kind of long-term residents. And I'm 43, and it's just different generations too. Different types of topics. Mia is still working in Fukushima. She has more stuff to do there. Shige went back home. Hats off to Nosh Abroad. Yes, indeed. All right, before I go, big salute to Nosh Abroad for moderating this. I appreciate that. He's done an awesome job. I think I've made Jim a moderator, and maybe we'll make one other person a moderator but Nosh is usually always here. Which I really appreciate. But awesome job moderating this. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad. I think it was Nashu who asked me to get moderators in here, as well as Vaughn. And Vaughn, yeah, I have no life. Well, my friend, we appreciate you. There's 300 people in here that really appreciate you, except for the people whose comments you blocked. They don't really appreciate you, but I don't think they really care anyways. So thank you to Nosh Abroad. Salute. We salute you. I'm gonna go. I can tell we're getting to Tokyo. The scene is a lot more urban. Yeah. I think 2 hour stream is enough, right? Is Toby in the house? Uh-oh. Toby is not a moderator. Toby, oh my gosh. Look, if I made Toby a moderator, he would ruin it, okay? I know he would find a way to ruin it. You know what he would do? He'd ruin it and then he'd give me a super chat. I'm kidding, I'm teasing him. Toby is, that's one of the great stories of this year, I think. Toby ruined a live stream in March, or in April, and then he made up for it by being an awesome person. So, we just like to tease him, but he's pretty cool. Yeah. Alright, I'm in Tokyo. This is Kita Senju. We made it in Tokyo. Alright, next stop is Asakusa. So, thanks everybody. Leave Toby alone. I'm saying Toby is a nice guy. Okay? Toby is still sleeping, I guess. Toby is still sleeping. Toby's a nice guy. I'm saying, but we make fun of him because he was mean that one day, like really hard on me. He wanted me to hitchhike and he didn't want to watch me do the normal stuff. So let me put it this way: Toby has gotten more attention than anybody else, more than Peter, I think. Okay, and Peter loves attention. Leo, make me one. Leo wants to be a senpai, to be a moderator. You're getting close, Leo. Getting close. I think the Nosh is doing such an awesome job. Does it take more than one moderator? Some moderators might unmoderate what Nosh does. Nosh's route has pretty good sense. Vaughn, because Vaughn asked me about, he sent me an email, I think, about moderating, and we talked a little bit about it, and he made a comment about needing more moderators, and I think he'd do a good job at it. Jim as well. Jim is in Tacoma, Washington. I've talked with him on Skype video chat a lot, and he's a pretty stand-up nice guy. He's somebody I trust. So Jim, also I think he's a moderator. But if I get to know you, then I would probably make you moderator. I think it's good to have the moderators because it's good to keep it clean. Vaughn, let John think that. Oh, Jesus. Uh-oh. Have I made a big mistake, Vaughn? Hello, hi, is Jim. Yeah. Jim, he supports on Patreon as well, and he always calls in. He always makes time for the show. I know he loves the show, and that means a lot to me. And I think I think I made him a moderator. Yeah. I am female and Australia. Cool. Uh-oh. You know why? So Vaughn, I think sometimes I mix up because Peter has Vaughn in his name. You know what makes... Vaughn... Peter likes Vaughn because Vaughn has Vaughn in her name. And Peter, I think, also says he. So nothing makes Peter more angry than if you put Vaughn with a capital V. He gets so angry. He gets really angry. I put in the titles once, I put Peter and then Vaughn and Gom, and he got, no, it's a small V, that's my name, don't screw it up. And so I changed it to the small V. But yeah, he's pretty a perfectionist with his Vaughn. That's good to know, Vaughn. So yeah, Vaughn is Vaughn has a big V, so no, so if you want to make Peter upset, leave a comment on his channel with a big V. Peter Vaughn Gom with a big V, and that'll really piss him off. Don't tell him I said that. I know you will. Alright, we're here. There's only one other person on the train. Jennifer will be on again soon. I gotta go, guys. I'm in Tokyo. We're almost there. I want to show you this too. plugged into the seat. I thought that was pretty cool. Listen, before I go, I don't say this enough, but I just want to say thank you to everybody. I want to say thank you to everybody who gives a super chat. While I was live streaming, I saw some pretty big numbers. Okay, Dunhill. Here, this is Kita Senju. We're rolling into. I just want to say, I think people give from the heart, and that makes me feel really happy. And I see the super chats rolling in because they're very bright, and I answer those because if you care, I mean, if you support the channel like that, then I'm gonna support you too by answering your question, and it really doesn't mean a lot to me. If I try to answer every super chat and I might miss them, I try to actually look at every comment, and it moves really, really fast sometimes. And I'm paying attention to my environment and the people around me. But I want to say thank you to everybody who takes the time to write, even the stalkers and spammers. Well, maybe not so much. I don't think Nosh abroad likes those spammers. But I want to thank everybody, though, before I go. It does mean a lot to me. And I think to everybody who's commenting, I see people thanking the people who give the super chats. And that's really nice. And Leo, you gave a lot of super chats today, and I appreciate that. I saw it pop up, and it does make me feel really good. Supported, I think, and that helps a lot. You don't have to, though. So Florencia, you know what? I know you from Instagram as well, and you don't look, support the channel any way that you can. You don't have to do it financially. Every time you share a video or like it or leave a comment, that also is like, that's really, it all makes me feel really good, because as a creator, I said this a couple of times before, as a creator, the best thing is that you just watch what I create. That's why I create it. I don't create for the super chats. The super chats are what people, I think, feel here that want to give, and that makes me feel good too. And as a creator, I put everything that I can into doing this, and answer honestly, and make a show that's fun for you. And that's what I do. I try my very best, and it's not always perfect. That's the nature of live streaming, you know. But we did our best. So thanks, everybody. Have a good night. We're literally arriving at Asakusa.
皆様のご来場を心よりお待ちしております。For your information, the tower you could see from the car window, the broadcasting tower, Tokyo Sky Tree,
They're melting the sky tree.
604 meters.
No kidding.
各位旅客朋友，
They said you can see the sky
可
tree.
以看到东京天空树。东京天空树是高达634米的自立式电波塔。
They said you can see the sky tree.
安内말씀을 드리겠습니다.
Where?
창밖으로 도쿄 스카이트리가 보입니다.
I don't see it.
도쿄 스카이트리는 높이 634m에 자리.
I don't see it. Alright. Well, thanks anyways, guys. Or sorry that I couldn't... I mean, I'm getting tired. I'm sorry I couldn't share the sky tree. That was fun that they announced it. Leo, thank you again, my friend. I don't know. I mean, I'm so appreciative that you like this show so much that you wanna give. So, thank you, everybody. That was a long one. So have a good night or a good day wherever you are. I'm gonna get off this train now because we're here. We're actually slowing down. See you, everybody. Bye-bye. We did it. Bye, Mr. Potter.